the core year on year is 2.6%, and if you look at it that way, and I guess it's all matter how you look at the data, you could say that you could make the case that that shows that there's persistent underlying inflation. And for the average American out there, I mean, polling indicates that they feel an inflation problem, that they are feeling the costs go up in housing and medical expenses, dining out in the last CPI report. I mean, how do you address that? I mean, you can point to all the numbers you want in the economic data. I don't know if it's a perception problem, but that's what they're feeling out there.
Right. Well, absolutely. You know, we understand what people are feeling, and in part it came about because of the runaway inflation under Joe Biden. Inflation has decelerated a lot, but it's, you know, still, if you look at the latest numbers, we're back where we want it. If you look at the 12-month number, we've still got some progress to make. But again,